Today, we're taking a look at something maybe a bit different. We're not diving into complex reports this time, but instead, we're exploring, well, a pretty short, everyday English conversation.
Exactly. And it might look simple on the surface, but there's actually quite a lot packed in there about how we really use English. You know, the little nuances and vocabulary, even like cultural bits. It's a good way to see the layers in just casual chat.
Absolutely. And the material we're using, it comes from a YouTube video, one designed for English speaking practice. It features native speakers talking about a, let's say, slightly unusual situation.
Right.
And our mission here isn't just to understand the basic meaning. We want to sort of unpack the natural reactions people have, look at the vocabulary and context, and maybe uncover some of those things that aren't said directly, the implied meanings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so to get us started, what's the actual situation in this conversation? What's happening?
Well, the core scenario is centered around this guy, Jake, and he has this plan, apparently, to walk 20 miles.
20 miles, okay.
Yeah, 20 miles in the rain, all because he wants a specific pizza.
Wait, 20 miles in the rain for pizza.
That's the plan.
Wow. Okay, so when Jake mentions this, I imagine the others, Sally and Alex, have something to say about it.
Oh, definitely. Their reactions are pretty strong, you could say. Sally, she immediately says, and this is a direct quote, "What no one in their right mind would do that."
No one in their right mind. Yeah, that phrase really lands, doesn't it? It tells you exactly how they feel.
It really does. It's like an immediate signal of just how, well, out there Jake's idea seems to them. Both Sally and Alex, they basically express disbelief, disagreement. It highlights this big contrast, between Jake's motivation, he says it's for exercise, and this specific pizza, and their much more sensible suggestion.
Right.
Just order it online.
Right, of course. It creates this slightly funny, almost absurd situation, doesn't it? This epic pizza quest versus, well, common sense and bad weather.
Exactly. It kind of draws you in. You want to see how Jake defends this idea.
And that reaction, especially Sally using that phrase, no one in their right mind, that's actually a great starting point for looking at the language itself.
It is. It leads us straight into some really common, expressive English vocabulary.
So let's unpack that. No one in their right mind. It sounds very forceful. What exactly does it convey in everyday English?
Well, fundamentally, it means no normal, rational, or sensible person would do the thing being discussed.
Yeah.
It implies it's like way outside the bounds of reasonable behavior. The video source actually gives some useful examples to show how it's used. Like, imagine someone deciding to swim in a freezing lake during winter.
Right, you probably think.
You'd think no one in their right mind would do that. It's freezing. Or, say, someone signs a really, really bad business contract.
Yeah, you might say later.
No one in their right mind would have agreed to those terms. It really emphasizes the speaker's strong judgment, maybe even shock at the decision.
Okay, so it's not just saying I disagree. It's more like questioning the sanity or judgment behind the action itself.
Precisely.
The video also had examples like, no one in their right mind would ignore her, suggesting she's someone important or noteworthy, or even no one in their right mind would want to spend it with you, which sounds pretty harsh, actually.
It can be, yeah. It shows how flexible the phrase is, though. You can use it for expressing strong disapproval or disbelief in all sorts of situations.
Oh.
It sort of suggests there's this shared understanding of what's reasonable and whatever Jake's doing or whatever the action is. It just falls completely outside of that.
Got it. A very direct way to call something illogical or foolish, from your point of view anyway.
Exactly. Now, another word that pops up, which also carries a strong feeling, is suffer.
Ah, yes, in the question, why suffer in the rain?
Right.
So suffer, we generally know it means feeling pain or discomfort. How's it working here in this chat? What does it reveal about Sally's perspective?
Well, the basic meaning is just that experiencing pain, hardship, discomfort, physical or emotional. The video gives examples like the straightforward, he suffered from a bad headache all day, physical pain. Okay.
But it can be used more broadly, like someone saying, I've suffered enough, meaning they've endured a lot of general hardship.
Right, like emotionally or through difficult circumstances.
Yeah. Or even comparing hardship, like no one has suffered like I have suffered. So in the pizza situation, when Sally asks, why suffer in the rain, she's not just talking about getting wet and cold.
It's more than that.
I think so. She's really highlighting the pointlessness of choosing hardship. Why endure all that discomfort for something you could get easily without any suffering? It suggests she really values, practicality, avoiding unnecessary difficulty.
That really comes through. It emphasizes her practical mindset. Why go through all that trouble when there's a simple fix?
Exactly.
And then Alex throws in another idea. He suggests Jake just wants to show off.
Mm-hmm.
That adds a whole different potential motivation for Jake, doesn't it?
It does. It shifts the focus. So show off, the idiom, it means basically doing something deliberately to get attention or make other people admire you. Sometimes it feels a bit like boasting. Okay, like trying too hard to impress.
Yeah, something like that. The video has examples like Lisa always shows off in class by answering all the questions, trying to look smarter than everyone else.
Right. Or you might just tell someone directly, stop showing off, if they're being annoying.
Exactly. Or you could note when someone does something impressive without showing off, implying it was genuine, not for attention. And of course, the direct question, are you showing off now?
So when Alex suggests Jake might be showing off by walking 20 miles in the rain for pizza, what's the thought process there? It implies it's not really about the pizza or the exercise.
Well, that's the implication, yeah. It suggests that maybe Jake's main reason isn't what he says it is. Maybe, Alex thinks, Jake wants to be seen as, I don't know, incredibly determined or tough or maybe even a bit eccentric in a look-at-me kind of way.
Interesting.
It shows how quickly we can jump to attributing maybe hidden motives when someone does something unusual.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And this all ties into understanding those natural reactions and the things that aren't explicitly stated, the subtext.
Absolutely. Take Sally's first reaction again. Walking that far in bad weather is crazy. It's short, direct, but it carries a really strong judgment.
And Alex just agrees with, exactly.
Right. That one word is enough. It reinforces their shared view. No need for a long explanation. They're completely on the same page. Those few words pack a punch.
And the suggestion to order online, it's not just a random idea. It comes from that practical, logical place we talk about. Avoid the hassle.
Definitely. And that question, why suffer in the rain? Like you said, it's not really a question asking for information.
No, it's rhetorical.
Exactly. It's a way of emphasizing how absurd, how unnecessary Jake's plan seems to them.
And Alex is showing off comment. That's their interpretation, right?
Right.
They see the seemingly irrational plan and they try to find a reason for it.
Yeah, it's like they're filling in the gaps. They don't know Jake's true motivation for sure, but showing off seems like a plausible explanation to them for why someone would choose to do something so, difficult and unnecessary.
It's a great snapshot of how we interpret others based on our own ideas of what's reasonable or normal.
It really is.
And then they look ahead. Sally predicts Jake will end up tired, wet, and hungry.
Yeah, painting a pretty grim picture.
And contrasting it sharply with their own projected future. At home, dry and warm with my pizza.
Mm-hmm. You can almost hear the quiet satisfaction there, can't you? Like a self-congratulatory, we made the smart choice.
Yeah, a little bit. And that final line, now that's the smart way, just seals it.
It does. It's a clear endorsement of their own practical approach and maybe a gentle dismissal of Jake's more adventurous, perhaps, plan.
It really makes you think about how often in just everyday life we make these quick judgments about other people's choices or plans.
All the time.
And if we connect this specific example back to communication generally, you see these kinds of interactions constantly.
Absolutely. How often do we hear about someone's unusual plan and react with maybe disbelief or offer what we think is a more sensible alternative?
And we often use pretty simple words like crazy or suffer to express some quite strong opinions or judgments, don't we?
We do. And even the way the conversation started, Sally asking, did you hear about Jake? That's such a typical opener, isn't it?
Yeah, setting up a story that you expect will get a reaction.
Right. It's like testing the waters, gauging the other person's view right away.
It's actually quite amazing how much is going on, information, judgment, assumptions, packed into such a short, seemingly simple exchange.
It really is.
We've looked at specific vocabulary, the way disagreement flows naturally, the hidden assumptions.
So just to kind of wrap up what we've pulled out of this, we've taken this everyday English chat and found some really useful insights, I think. We dug into phrases like no one in their right mind, looked at how suffer was used, and the implications of show off.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw how just short, natural responses can say a lot about opinions and how we often, read between the lines to figure out what people really mean.
Yeah, it definitely shows that even a simple bit of dialogue, offers a lot if you look closely. You get a real feel for the nuances of English and how native speakers share their views.
Absolutely.
It sort of leaves you with a thought, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe think about the last time you or someone you know had a plan that others thought was a bit crazy.
Uh-huh.
How did that conversation actually go? What kind of words were used? Were people surprised? Maybe critical?
Were there assumptions being made about why they wanted to do it?
Yeah, exactly. Could you maybe look back at that conversation now using some of the ideas we've talked about today, the vocabulary, the reactions, the hidden meanings?
It's a really good exercise, actually, just paying more attention to the language flying around us every day and all the subtle ways we communicate and figure each other out. Hopefully this deep dive has given you maybe a fresh perspective on the richness hidden even in the most ordinary conversations.
Thanks for exploring this with us today.